Hello. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I just realized the music ain't playing. Let's go ahead and fix that right up. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I'm also gonna bump it up in my mixer because it really wasn't that loud last time I was streaming. And then bump it down in my headphones. There we go. Hi! Hello! Been gone for a couple of weeks. It's been a ride. I was super sick, and then it was my birthday. I'm not gonna freaking take a stream on my birthday. But now it's after my birthday, it's after I'm sick, and I'm here. Now, last time that we all got together, we were putting together what this stream was gonna look like. And I still got a long ways to go when it comes to that. Thank you to everybody who was able to come to the beta test. It was so much fun streaming for you guys those couple of weeks. We put together this whole Jamboard regarding this project in general. And like I was saying, there are still a few things that I need to do. By the way, once you join, shout yourself out in chat. Let the people know what you do. Thank you! Hazel JDB, who is my friend. I'm not gonna say her real name, but she's my best friend. Thank you for saying that I'm smart. Anyway, so there's still a lot of work to do on these streams, but I feel confident enough now to push them out into the public. We're past the beta testing phase, we're going on. But I do want to section out a section of my website that will tell people more information about the streams, hopefully give the good people of the world a content calendar so that they know what to expect, and other good stuff. And here's a look at that calendar. We were working on it 2 weeks ago. And so for this second leg of things, we are going to be working on this website strategy app. Hooray! As you can see, fellas, we got lots to do, so let's just jump right into it. Also still gonna turn down my music just a little bit more. I don't think can you guys hear it? I might have minimized it. Whoopsie poopsie. There we go. Okay, so, lots to do. Website strategy planning app. What is it? I've been talking about it a lot. But what do it do? So the idea with this app is we want to help business owners with, let's say, little to no knowledge about website development or content creation to devise. You know what? Actually, here we go. I'm skipping steps. First, let's outline the problem. What's the problem people have? They don't know how to make websites. But more than not knowing how to make websites, they don't even know how to begin the conversation of making a website. In this day and age, in the digital world, you kind of have to have some baseline knowledge of how something works in order to effectively go about doing the thing. Let's say writing a novel. Yes, a lot of people can probably surmise that a novel takes a lot of sitting down and writing one word after another. But that's not necessarily enough to write something that can qualify as a novel. In addition to writing a novel or even beginning to think about writing a novel, you have to have some sort of understanding of, okay, what is a story? How are stories typically structured? How does the mechanics of writing dialogue work? How does the look and feel of writing good dialogue work? So on and so forth. You really need all of that foreknowledge in order to even begin planning a novel. And luckily enough, most of us have our literature classes. I was going to say English class, but not everybody here probably took English. So, hello. Our good friend Nicole Juniper with Nicole Juniper Designs is here. If you need visual identity or anything like that, go with Nicole. She the bomb diggity at what she do. Anyway, so most of us have English classes to at least warm our way into a good conversation about writing books or writing novels. A lot of us aren't required to take website classes to know what goes into making a good website. Everything from the coding to the, okay, what does making an effective website that can help your business look like? So this website strategy app, let's call it the Making Website 101 quiz. Or something to that nature. My intention is to get people the knowledge that they need to have to make qualified decisions or start having productive conversations about what their website is and what it should do. That's the dream. And I'm trying to figure out how to make this go crooked so that I can be like, oh, whoa. You know how things go like, oh, whoa. Where's like a... Really should just be a post-it now that I'm thinking about it. I don't want the font to be that big. Icky. Ew. I don't want it to be that small. Also icky. Ew. Alright. That works. Let me make it crooked. Let me have fun. Simply want to have fun. Don't think that's too much to ask. Anyway, problem. People don't know how to make websites. More so, they don't know what good websites be doing. And furthermore, okay, so that's a long problem. But what's the solution? Me quiz. And what I mean by quiz is, I want to take them down a guided path, much like you would get with a typical consultation, that will make a lot of decisions for them and tell them what they need in order to make their specific website successful. So they don't necessarily need the 101 course, but they have the info that makes it look like they did take the 101 course. So what this would look like in practice is, whatchamacallit? My brain is fuzzy today. What this would look like in practice is they take my quiz, and the quiz asks them, are you an e-commerce site? Yes. And then on the back end, it's like, okay, so this person needs this type of hosting. They might want to consider getting a point of sale system. They might want to consider setting up a e-commerce account with like Stripe or Square or something like that. So it's making all of those decisions in the back end for them as soon as the person says e-commerce site. And then it's like, great, what kind of e-commerce site? Are you selling a lot of items or are you just selling one item? And let's say that they say that they're only selling one item. And then on the back end, the quiz is like, okay, great, so we can roll out A, B, C, and D because it would be way too much for those people. So every question that the user answers further narrows down from a broad pool of like general resources, and then at the end of the quiz serves them like just a more narrow perspective of what they need. Again, like you would get in a typical consult. And the challenge here is that like this is going to one, there's going to be a lot of back-end work that happens through this quiz. So you have to be careful about how you're creating functions and storing variables and stuff like that. But that's getting too far ahead of things. Right now, we're focused on big picture. Problem, solution. Take my quiz, get served a get served a, I'm trying to look for like the right adjective to describe it, but I also might be overcooking it. I could just say get served a website strategy plan comparable to a website consultation. Benefit. Or result, I should say. Nah, benefit. Saves business owners the time it would take to research / potential pitfalls of website development and connects them with the resources / personnel they need. Let's say efficiently. Oh, that's too small. So there's the problem, there's the benefit, and then there's like the intended solution. Let's see, what else? Instead of naming this section purpose, I think I want to name it just like overview. Now, what is the how? And I was just talking about that. Business owners take quiz. Or questionnaire is probably like the better way to put it. Application selects / narrows down needs depending on answers. So having all that said, what I want to work on primarily today is the sequence. Like, what is this quiz going to be? What are the different sections that the business owner is going to need to go through during this questionnaire? What is it going to serve them? What's the back end going to do? So on and so forth. And once we have plotted out the entire sequence of the questionnaire, then we're going to move on to production. Like, okay, so we know what we want to do with this app. What tools are we going to use to make it? What stuff do we need to learn? What stuff do we already know? And production and distribution are probably going to go hand in hand. So while we're picking out the tools that we need in order to create this thing, we're also going to be making decisions about how we want to put this thing out into the world. This I've already given like a little bit of thought. I'm thinking I either want to do a web app that will be embedded into my website that people need a login in order to access, or I'll do a simple downloadable program that people are given like via email or something like that. I don't know if I want to go as far as to say, whatchamacallit. Sorry, I just got a message. I don't know if I want to go as far as to say, like, you need a license key or something like that, or you only get a certain amount of downloads, because that just seems like a whole headache and a half to program. And also, I don't know. Like, I kind of like the idea of going back to the good old days when everything wasn't, like, subscription and stuff like that, or, like, centered around, like how Netflix is, like, you can't share your passwords or your accounts, we're tracking you by IP or whatever the shit. Yeah, I hate that stuff. So maybe it cost me, like, a penny in the long run, but I think I could build myself, like, a good reputation by allowing people to share around this information, and not only that, but, again, my brain is just farting all over the place today, I'm telling you. I like the idea of people being able to share their downloads, because even if I don't get a penny for it, like, my branding's going to be all over it, so they're going to come back to me if they really want somebody to do their website. And that's what this is. This isn't teaching people how to make websites, it's just teaching people how to think about websites. So at the end of the day, they're going to go through all this and realize, well, dang, I really do need a professional on this, you know? But that's enough of that. Oh yeah, also, gonna be a short stream today. I'm really only planning to go until like 4, maybe 4:30, because I got an event to go to tonight, and I'm gonna go over to a friend and have some cheesecake, and it's gonna be like a really great time or something. So, how do I want to map this out? It might actually be best to start with questions. What are questions that I would ask people if I were giving them a website consultation? I would probably ask them, describe your business. Let's go ahead and make that bulleted. And then I would ask, how many pages do you want to blog? Or a news template slash team profile pages slash anything templated. Do you want to sell stuff? Do you want to advertise events? Do you want a contact form? Do you have any apps that need to be integrated? Do you want people to sign up to be users on the site? So all these like base level things that will help us go into more detail about, okay, great. Do you want users to be, and do you want people to sign up to be users on the website? What functionality do you want those users to have? Do you want it to be more like a forum? Do you want it just to be able to store like information and stuff like that? All that good stuff. How many pages do you want? Do you want a blog? Do you want to sell stuff? Do you want to advertise events? Do you want a contact form? Do you have apps that need to be integrated? Or a third party? And I'm thinking about all the technical stuff, but it's oftentimes people also have design needs. So I should probably keep that in mind too. So let's segment this out into, I'm going to get rid of describe your business for now. This is development, meaning the nuts and bolts. What features do you want your website to have? Oh, that's another thing. Speaking of development, do you already have a URL? Do you already have a hosting service? Do you want to build the website yourself? Let's say build/maintain. Do you want to hire help? And then let's take a quick break and go over to design. Do you have a logo? Is it in Comic Sans? If so, can I burn it? Do you have branding guidelines? Do you have a color palette? You have a typography suite. I'm probably missing something when it comes to design. So Hazel is answering all of these questions in real time, fellas. They say Comic Sans is great. Objectively false, but okay. Yellow, a picture of me. Thank you. Thank you, Hazel. Appreciate you. And I'm assuming the color palette is just yellow. Only yellow. All the time. Yellow, famous for being very ADA compliant and not even a little bit difficult to deal with. Moving on. Content. How is your website structured? How does it sound? And actually, I'm going to add on top of this an overview. I'm going to put the, what is your business? What is the goal of the website? And I'm sure we'll be adding on more from there. So, overview. What is your business? What is the goal of the website? Content. Do you have a mission statement / values? Man, I wish Julie were here. She would be like, oh, content, that's me! Actually, I feel like I want to go over, so Julie Nichols of Julie Nichols Marketing recently gave a great presentation at the local, gosh dang it with these brain poops, at the local Chamber of Commerce. And I don't have her permission, so I'm not going to show it on screen, but I will be looking over at it. You know what, Hazel? You're absolutely right. We should be asking the people, is your content nice? Does it give me the warm fuzzies? What do you want users to do on your website? Where do you want them to end up? Okay, so what was I doing? I was looking up Julie's guidelines. Julie Nichols of Julie Nichols Marketing. Content extraordinaire. Okay, so that's what it's called. Do you have your mission statement / values? Do you have you know, I just had it in a branding message or a brand message. Do you have a brand persona? And now this is getting kind of out of scope when it comes to websites, and it's interesting because I did recently meet with somebody where I'm like, she came to me and she's like, I just want a website. And I was asking her a lot of these questions, like, do you have a logo? Do you have content? Do you have a brand message? Have you done any strategizing with your marketing as a whole? And then ultimately, when she was coming back to me and saying, no, I haven't really dove into that, I actually recommended, okay, let's take a step back from the website. Here's some people that I can recommend to you. I really advise for you to get your marketing strategy in place before you start on your website, which might just end up being like one of the end states for this app of, hey, if you don't have a good marketing strategy first, take a pause on the website plan, go make a marketing strategy, and then come back. Because ultimately, if you start on a website before you have a good marketing strategy, you're just going to be wasting a lot of money on a website that doesn't know what it needs to be and so doesn't really do anything. I'm actually going through these growing pains with a couple of clients right now where they really just started their website without thinking about what they wanted their website to do, and so their website ends up being everything, and when you're everything, you're nothing. Okay, so I think at the very least this is a good place to start out. I'm sure that once we dive into the nitty-gritty, we will have more to add to this first part, but let's say in this app, you actually have a couple of different sections that you can fill out, and you have this high level, which is the first set of questions, and then you can go deeper and deeper and deeper down. And you can save your progress as you go, and if you need to like take a break from one section, you can go over to another section. Like if you start in the overview, or if you start in development, and you're like, how many pages do you want? Do you want a blog? Do you want to sell stuff? Do you want to advertise events? But then you hit a certain point where you're like, gee, I don't really think I know if I want that. You can instead circle back to content. Okay, what is the purpose / the goal of the website? Or you can circle back to design of, okay, do I have this? Do I have that? Am I ready for this? And then you can go back to whatever else you have. Because ultimately, all of these different things feed into each other. Decisions that you make in design are going to, decisions that you make in content are going to affect decisions that you make in design. Like, if you decide that your branding message and your branding persona is really upbeat and cheerful, that's probably going to affect what your color palette looks like. Like, you're not going to use black on black on black for a sunny and upbeat persona. And in turn, that's going to affect development. If you have a real sunny and upbeat persona, then you really want a website that's lively, for lack of a better word. Or if you decide over here in the business overview, like, what is the goal of the website? If the goal is ultimately to get somebody to schedule an appointment with you, then that's also going to make some decisions for development. Because now we need to set up something like Calendly. We need to set up something like some sort of scheduler. Or we need to set up a contact form so that people can get in touch with you at the end of this customer journey that they're going on. Which actually, that's another good question for overview. Do you have a customer planned out? Which, that could kind of be overview, that could kind of be content, I'm not sure. But again, if you have a customer journey planned out, then that's going to affect how much content you need. Do you have a content strategy or calendar? Do you know how often you want to update/add content to your website? It's all just a great big mess when you really think about it. Okay, so let's say overview. Level 1. So what is your business? That's too general. Let's say, what industry do you work in? Actually, here, we can do a couple of things here. We can say, what is the name of your business? And then I'm going to highlight that as, let's see. I'm going to find some way to flag this as a static input. And what I mean by static input is they type in the name of their business and it's just the name of their business. There's no follow-up question. There's no branching, conditional variables. It's just, what is the name of your business? Aha! I found it. The highlighter. Let's see. Static is blue. What is the name of your business? And let's say yellow is conditional logic. Let's see if we can look up a good list of industries. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Here, I'm going to screenshot this. You know what? Instead of crowding this flowchart, I'm just going to say drop down, C, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to create a new section, or maybe a table. We can say table A for now. And table A will hold all of the values that we want in this dropdown. Let's say source equals blibis. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And let's also attach a value to each branching output. So let's say if value A, then ask, let's see, because why do we want to know what industry you work in? If it's any sort of e-commerce industry or any sort of commerce industry, then we need to inevitably ask, do you want an e-shop? Or do you sell items? Or something like that. Do you plan to sell items on this website? And if yes, do you have a POS? Or do you need a POS? If yes, then how many items do you intend to sell? If 1 to 10, recommend, let's say POS A/B/C. If 11 to 30 or 11 to 50, recommend POS DEF. And if more than 50, then POS GHI. Or add add is probably the correct term here. Because right now we're determining what we're going to serve the client once they get to the end of this questionnaire. So that's like just one sequence that they can go through. So we've already determined that in Table A, we both need to list the industry and we need to list which value we give to the industry. So, industry value. And actually, instead of assigning them letters, I think I'm going to assign them numbers. So let's take a look at this. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at these industries, I also would add to either overview or content, who's your target demographic? Are we business to business or business to consumer? Because ultimately, that's going to decide how the designer ends up designing the site. And let's also put all of this stuff in different sections that the business owner can easily parse through. So, if I'm recommending a point of sale system to a business owner, that would go under the tool needs, equipment needs, software needs. I would say that would go under the say add point of sale system to system needs. And we'll find some better language for that later. Okay, so now we already have at least one question that begins to carve out what the end functionality of this, or what the intended flow of this app is going to be overall. I'm also going to add one more highlighter in here. I'm going to make it green. And I'm going to say when something's highlighted green, then we want to describe what it does. Because part of the functionality of this app is also going to be slightly educational. We want these people to be informed when they're making these decisions. So let's say that this is a new shop, or a shop that just doesn't have any sort of infrastructure yet, and they don't know what a point of sale system is. Then we'll have like some sort of effect, whether it be a tooltip or just a hyperlink that can go to a different page or something like that, where they can get the definition of what a point of sale system is and what it's supposed to do. So let's also add to sequence. Let's say end report. System needs. Staff/HR needs. Design needs. So on and so forth. Describes what systems user needs to get the site up and running, i.e., hosting, domain, email, point of sale, customer relation management software, etc. Staff needs. Describes the human roles that need to be fulfilled and options for either contracting/hiring said roles. Includes ideal qualifications, current market rates, and let's say resume green flags. Instead of doing design needs, I'm going to say branding needs, because branding includes design and content. Describes the marketing / communication work that needs to be done to the website effective in its mission / goal. And I don't know what else I want to put there for now. I don't know if I want to put like Wikipedia articles or tutorials, or if I want to connect them with staff/HR needs, or maybe list out individual elements. Why did I type out slash? What is wrong with me? Okay, so I'm hopping all over the place, but I think I'm making good progress. So let's go back to this table real fast. Let's say, just so that we can have a couple of examples on the board, fellas. Let's say, Ooh, video broadcasting. Hold on, let's go away from the table and go back to our, like, level 1 questions right here. How much media and what type of media needs to be stored? Needs to be displayed. We don't need to talk about storage yet. i.e. images, videos, documents, etc. And also analytics. In this day and age, there is no reason why you shouldn't have some level of analytics on your site, especially when Google Analytics is offering their services for free. There's no reason. There's simply no reason. Okay, so let's say restaurant. How does one spell restaurant? One has to wonder. Don't worry, fellas. I figured it out. And let's give that... Okay, so if we're a restaurant, we want the... Another thing is that we can assign multiple values. So, let's say value 1 equals point of sale. Because even though a restaurant isn't giving a good is supposed to last a long time, let's say, it doesn't have a long shelf life, it still does require sales to some extent, and so people do need to keep track of those sales. So restaurant, value, 1. And let's say photography. Photographers probably need a CDN to set up so that they can store a lot of high quality images or something like that. Or if you're a video, you know what, a better example would probably be a videographer. So they're not setting up like an eShop where they have products that people can just go ahead and add to cart right there on the spot. Ideally, their end goal is probably to showcase their work and to get you to contact them. And in order to do that, they're going to need good storage. So let's say value 2 means storage concerns. And let's make another table. Tables on tables on tables, my friends. Saying each value and need for now. 1 equals point of sale. So that we know when people answer these questions what to recommend to them. 1 means point of sale. 2 means media storage. 3 means analytics. 4 means integration. That's too general. Say 4 means scheduling. And we'll revisit that later when we need it. But it's still here. Don't worry, it's not going anywhere. Okay, what industry do you work in? 1. Do you plan to sell... Okay, 1. Point of sale path. Do you plan to sell items on this website? Yes. Do you need a point of sale? Okay, but what happens when we say no? Does it just end? Is there anything else? Let's just go ahead and make sure. Do you plan to display items on this website? And then no is where it stops. So actually, let's make that purple. And purple means end of route. And you know what? Instead of ending the point of sale system over here, let's lead them to a page saying, how do I want to do this? Lead to a page describing recommendation. Remember that if you're just joined in the stream, shout yourself out in chat, and then I will shout you out to the whole entire world and tell you how great you are. Okay, lead to page describing recommendation plus add recommendation to result page. Okay, value 1, point of sale. What did we say value 2 was? Storage need. Value 2 is going to be a little bit tricky because that goes more into development, so there are a lot of questions that we're going to need to plan for that path. Okay. And actually, now that I think about it, all of this should be connected to this. But what if I just want to connect this to uh-oh. Haha! Don't worry, fellas, I fixed it. Okay. Now we really got our chart. Okay, overview, level 1. What is the name of your business? 2. What industry do you work in? I'm just going to come back to this later. It's true, Hazel, you are great. Let's see. What is the goal of your website? That's going to be an easier one, I think, to work with starting out. And we're going to do another drop down. Or you know what? This will be multiple choice. Let's see. They can select I want to sell my product. Which ideally would lead them back to this questionnaire. I want to increase awareness of my business. It's like the standard stuff. I want people to sign up for my content. That could be news, or I want people to subscribe to my content. I want people to subscribe to my company. And that would actually lead them down the media storage. Okay, I want to sell my product. I want to increase awareness of my business. I want people to subscribe to my content. Want to display my work, which would again lead to media storage. What does Google ask when you set up an analytics account? What do Google do? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean I have missing permissions? That doesn't make any sense. Here, I'm gonna bounce this over here real fast. Y'all are just gonna have to ride this with me. Okay, so when you set up a Google Analytics account, usually they're like, but what do you do? And I'm like, great question. What do I do successfully, quickly? Oh, what a fool I am. I want to provide people with a service. And I don't know where that sends them, but hey, good for you. We love that for you. We love that for you. If they're providing people with a service, they're probably going to need some sort of integration. Or ultimately, it could send them down the content path. I don't know. Okay, this is good enough for now. Jeez Louise. Who knew that making an app would be so complicated? Am I right or am I right? Okay, what's the next question we have to tackle? What is the end goal of your website? And this is going to be another multi-select. Or what do you want users to do on your website? I want them to book an appointment with me. I want them to buy my products. Man, that's kind of a repeat of what is the goal of your website? Yeah, I think I'm gonna ditch it. It's too repetitive. I want to attract sponsors. I want to build a community. Okay. Do you have a marketing strategy? This is going to be an easy one. Maybe the easiest. Huh? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Yes. Great. Continue, please. Yes. No. What? let's say if they answer no, take them down the content path, or yeah, take them down the content path, or take them to the content section. Disable other paths or other sections. Oh, it's hard to see that green. Let's just go ahead and highlight above marketing strategy green so that I know to describe what this does. But if they say yes, tell them, cool, good job. And then what goes back to the marketing strategy page? Okay, so I'm going to make a note here in production. Needs conditional logic for questionnaire. Needs wiki-like structure for term definitions. And here I'm building into this production section so that we can use the needs, the functionality that this app needs to determine what tool we use to build it, which is ultimately going to be the goal of production, is choosing the tools and the mechanisms that we're going to need in order to build this app. You know, I'm going to add a note here. Ideally should be able to be embedded into a website. Embedded / integrated. Do you have a customer journey planned out? Yes. No. What? And these preliminary questions are just as much trying to already form recommendations for them as they are determining the needs later on for other questions to build upon. Like if they already have a customer journey, great. We don't need to educate them as to what a customer journey is, and we don't need to recommend any people that any like starter marketing packages. We can go straight to the advanced stuff. And then for no, instead of taking them to the content section, I'm going to go ahead and ask a couple of follow-up questions or lead them to, I'm going to call all of this stuff that we did up here earlier, like the point of sale part of the questionnaire, a path. And depending on how people answer these questions, they get taken down certain paths. So I'm going to later go up here and revise stuff. But whatchamacallit, I want to sell my product, goes down the point of sale path. The subscribe to my content, display my work, goes to the media storage path. This will go to the marketing specialist path or the sales specialist path. And then, of course, if they say what, it will lead them back here. One of these days, I'm going to draw a good arrow, and then you guys will see. That was not the day, but we're getting closer, fellas. Well. Who is your target demographic? Business to business or business to consumer? I don't know what we're going to do with that question yet, but one day I'm going to find out. And one day, I'm going to find out where my dad went. I'll find him. Eh? Why did I do that? Okay, so that's all of the level 1 for marketing. And real quick, before we move on, I'm going to fix this. So you might see that, you've probably noticed that for what industry do you work in? You'll remember we went over to this table earlier, since there are so many gosh dang industries, that instead of listing all of these gosh dang industries in just a document, we're going to take a list of industries and we're going to assign them each a value. And that value will direct them towards a different path. And this will be a level 2 path line, or a level 2 question. indicating that it's the path level. So let's start using the development section to, you know what, let's start doing the level 1s for the development section, if there are going to be level 1s for the development section. I'm just going to drag this guy down here with me. And you know what, let's start out with the how do you want to manage this website going forward. Because that will make a couple of decisions regarding what staffing they're going to need. And then with yes, we're actually going to ask a lot of questions that could potentially send them down different paths, because we really want to make sure that they do want to build the website themselves and they have the capability to build the website themselves. So let's say let's say, how many pages do you want on your website? Well, let's also go ahead and make a decision right now that we are helping them make choices. We are not necessarily helping them make wise choices. That is completely on them. They need to be honest about themselves and their abilities in order to confidently say, yes, I want to make this website myself. And then all we can do is say, great, here are some tools that you can use. Godspeed. We can lead them to water, but we can't make them drink. So let's say 1 to 5 pages. Do you already, let's send them to the, do you already have, or the hosting path. No, let's go ahead and recommend some hosting services for them. And then for 6 to 10 pages, we can both recommend, but also say you might want to consider a developer. And then let's say recommend entry-level developer. And then, no, just, you know, shrug and let them do what they do. Let them cook. And then 10 plus pages tell them, no, you need a developer. And then they're going to go to the developer path. I'm also going to get rid of all of this yellow highlight because we don't really need to distinguish when it's a dynamic question. We can kind of tell. What we need to distinguish is whether or not it's a static question, which is what is the name of your business. Do you want to build the website yourself? No, go to the developer path. You know what? I'm going to add on to here. Actually, hold on. I'm going to ask if they have web dev experience. If they say yes, I'll recommend hosting in packages. If they say no, I'm gonna ask, pretty please hire a developer. Come on, let me add it. Let me add it. Let me just. Fine, I'll redo it. Fine, I'll redo it. Alright, fellas. It has been fun. Thank you for going on this journey with me. I'm going to end the stream now because I got a thing to go to soon. So, God bless. Hopefully I'll see you next week. And yeah, bye-bye, I suppose.